All right, today we are going to break down a massive topic, one that's literally all around us, shaping everything from our jobs to our savings to the price of coffee, macroeconomics. Now, I know it sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see the whole big picture. I mean, you've definitely asked these questions before, right? Why is gas so expensive this month? Why were there so many jobs last year, but now it's tough to find one? These things hit us right where we live, in our wallets and our plans for the future. And the crazy part is, the answers go way beyond just our own personal choices. To really get what's going on, you have to do something that feels a little weird. You have to zoom way, way out. Imagine floating above it all and seeing the entire economy. Every business, every single worker, every dollar moving all at once. It's all about shifting your view from what's right in front of you to a real bird's eye perspective. And that new perspective, that special lens we use to see the whole system at work, well, that's what we call macroeconomics. It's right there in the name, really. Instead of zooming in on just one company or, one person's spending habits, macroeconomics looks at the whole shebang. It's the difference between studying a single tree and studying the entire forest. And that's exactly what it means. The word macro comes from the Greek for large. So our one and only job here is to think big. We're looking at the huge, powerful forces that shape entire nations. So when we put on this macro lens and look down from above, what are we actually seeing? What does this grand view of the economy really show us? Let's get into it. First off, macroeconomics gives us a toolkit to measure the sheer size and power of a country's economy. You can think of it like we're giving the economy a full physical, taking its pulse and checking its growth chart. And two of the most important vital signs are national income, that's the total earnings of everyone in the country combined, and economic growth. That one tells us if the average person's real income is going up over time, which is, a pretty good sign of progress. Okay, next up, just like a doctor checking your vitals, we use macroeconomics to track the overall health of the economy. Is it running smoothly? Is it stable? Is it actually creating opportunities for people? We do this by looking at a few key things. We study employment, who has a job and who's looking for one. We track the general price level to see if we're dealing with inflation, where your money buys less, or even deflation. And we analyze business cycles, those kind of predictable but sometimes painful booms and busts that every economy goes through. And finally, macroeconomics helps us understand the control panel, so to speak. It's all about the big levers that governments and central banks can pull to try and steer the economy in the right direction. This includes fiscal policy. That's how the government uses its spending and tax policies to either hit the gas or pump the brakes on the economy. Then you've got monetary policy, where the central bank messes with interest rates to encourage or discourage borrowing and spending. And, of course, it covers international trade, how the constant flow of goods between countries changes the whole game. Okay, I know, that's a whole lot of theory, so let's get to the real question. What's the payoff? Why is studying all this stuff so incredibly important in the real world? Well, to put it simply, governments can't make smart decisions if they're flying blind. And macroeconomics is basically the entire instrument panel for the economy. And it follows a pretty logical process. First, policymakers pull together all that big picture or aggregate data. We're talking total national income, total investment, all that stuff. That gives them a clear picture of what's happening right now. And only then can they actually design policies like tax cuts or new spending programs to help guide the economy where it needs to go. But it's not just about one country. Macroeconomics gives us a shared language so we can compare different nations. We can ask questions like, are some countries growing way faster than others? And if so, why? By using standard measurements like per capita income or investment rates, we can actually see how different economies stack up against each other. This is huge because it helps us learn what policies are working around the globe and what challenges other countries are facing. And the list just keeps going. It helps us figure out our overall well-being, it shows us how the public and private sectors are connected, and ultimately, it's just plain necessary if we want to make any sense of the super complex modern economy we all live in. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final idea. It's a little bit of a mind-bender, a paradox that really captures what makes macroeconomics so unique. So just think about this for a second. Is it possible for an action that is 100% the smart, logical, and beneficial thing for you to do to be a disaster if everyone else did it too? Well, macroeconomics says absolutely yes. Let's use saving money as the perfect example. For any single person, saving more money is a great idea. It builds wealth, gives you security, but what if everyone decided to start saving aggressively all at the same time? Well, if everyone stops spending, businesses suddenly have no customers. They have to lay off workers, and the whole economy can grind to a halt and shrink. It's called the paradox of thrift. And that right there is maybe the biggest lesson of all from our zoomed out view. The economy as a whole is more than just the sum of its parts. It has its own logic, its own rules. And understanding that fundamental difference, well, that's what macroeconomics is all about. Makes you wonder, what other paradoxes are out there, hiding in plain sight? Something to think about.